Welcome to Mind Body Green Dishes. I'm Kanchan Koya, the founder and cookbook author of Spice Baby. Today I'm going to be walking you through my favorite anti-inflammatory spices. We're going to talk about why it's important to pay attention to inflammation, and then we're going to make a delicious anti-inflammatory soup. Inflammation at the right time and the right context is a powerful defense that our body mounts towards things like infection, wound healing. So in and of itself, it's not a bad thing. The problem is when inflammation becomes chronic and low grade and persistent, it can set the stage for disease, aging, and a host of other negative health effects. This is why we need to pay attention to inflammation and fight chronic inflammation through food and spices. When it comes to anti-inflammatory spices, there are many to choose from, but I've chosen a few that I love because they're incredibly versatile, super delicious, and easy to use. We're going to heat our pot to a medium heat, to which we're going to add our oil. Now, when it comes to anti-inflammatory foods, cooking oils are a really important ingredient to pay attention to. We're going to start by warming this avocado oil on medium heat. And once it's warm and just slightly shimmering, we're going to add our leeks. So now that this is warm, we're going to add our leeks. And we're just going to stir this and saute until tender for about 3 minutes. So once this is nice and softened, we're just going to season it with a little bit of salt. I love to season as I go so that I'm really building flavor from the inside out. Once these are nice and softened, we are going to add some garlic. And we just want to saute the garlic for about a minute, not too long. We don't want to burn it because then it makes it bitter. We want that sweet kind of garlicky flavor. And now we're going in with our potent anti-inflammatory cruciferous vegetable, broccoli. So we're just giving this broccoli a quick saute to allow it to really meld well with the garlic and the leeks and the oil. And then we're simply going to cook this in stock or water until tender. So the idea is we just want to cook it enough so that we can blend it into our creamy broccoli soup. And then we'll be ready to add our anti-inflammatory spices and all our other sulforaphane augmenting kind of garnishes. So I'm just gonna let this cook until tender, and then we are ready to blend. Once your broccoli is nice and tender, you're just gonna tip it into a high-speed blender. Be careful when you do that. You can also use a ladle if you like, but I'm just going for it. So we'll just transfer everything over. We're not gonna leave anything behind, especially those incredible leeks. All that into the blender. And then we are going to add a very special ingredient to make this a creamy broccoli soup, packed with anti-inflammatory powers, you guessed it, avocado. Now we're just going to blend this into our creamy soup. You can blend your soup until super creamy, or you can leave a little texture in there. I like a little texture. So now we are ready to plate this soup and top it with our anti-inflammatory powerhouses. So all I'm going to do here is transfer this into your favorite bowl. I just find that eating out of a bowl that's pretty and soothing to the eye really makes a difference to celebrate your delicious meals. You can see the soup is a little chunky, that's how I like it, but really feel free to add more stock and make it creamier if that's what you like. So here we have our broccoli avocado soup with our garlic and our leeks, our avocado oil, and now we're really gonna get serious about boosting its anti-inflammatory powers. Now that I've ladled my soup into my bowl, I'm ready to make my spiced anti-inflammatory oil. I'm going to start by heating my pot to a medium-high heat. So we're gonna start with a little bit of avocado oil in this pot. And once that's shimmering, we are going to, what's called in culinary terms, bloom the spice. So now that this is shimmering, we are going to add our turmeric. I'm not going to be shy. Turmeric is one of those spices that really doesn't have too much of a flavor, but if you add a lot, it is going to get a little bitter. So if it's new to you, you can start with smaller amounts and build from there. So we're adding turmeric in here, and if you remember from earlier on, we always have to pair turmeric with black pepper, you guessed correct. And just a pinch is enough. So you don't need a ton of black pepper to really boost the bioavailability of curcumin. And we're just gonna let this kind of bloom for kind of like 30 to 60 seconds. We don't wanna burn the spice. I'm also adding a pinch of cayenne pepper. And now, once this has bloomed and it's fragrant, you can smell it, we are ready to drizzle it over our soup. So this makes 2 servings, so I'm just gonna use half the oil on this soup and save the other half for the remainder of my soup. And now that the oil is on the soup, we're just going to finish with a little salt. You can taste and adjust the salt as needed. And now we're really gonna bring out more of those anti-inflammatory benefits with a very cool spice hack. So we're just gonna sprinkle this with a little raw mustard seed powder, which contains myrosinase, which is gonna help the formation of sulforaphane from our cooked broccoli. And then just because it's super pretty, and why not add even more myrosinase, we're gonna add some beautiful sliced radishes. Next up, we are adding microgreens. If you can find broccoli sprouts, those are gonna give you the biggest bang for your buck in terms of sulforaphane. These are spicy mustard microgreens, which are also gonna have sulforaphane. So we're really doubling down here on those anti-inflammatory compounds. Next up, we're going in with omega-3 rich walnuts. Now that we've added our walnuts, we're ready to squeeze some fresh lime. I love the acidity of lime. It really balances out the other flavors and brings out those kind of herbaceous notes in the broccoli and the sprouts. And then of course, we're going in with our anti-inflammatory powerhouse sumac. And there you have it, an anti-inflammatory soup packed with so much goodness from nature, spices, really leveraging the power of plants. I hope you love it, I hope it's delicious, and I hope it helps you feel your best. Thanks for joining me for Mind Body Green Dishes. I'll see you next time.